Lily Sosi was in good health.
She was the glue that kept everybody together.
Her daughter Lindsay says she was a phlebotomist assigned to the COVID unit in Farmington.
And because nobody else wanted to, and because she loved her job, she chose to go ahead and work on the COVID floor.
Lily soon came down with the disease.
It was like they would give us some good news, and then the next day it would be some bad news. And then finally it got to where, oh, her kidneys are failing. We don't think there's nothing else that we could do for her.
The disease took her in a matter of weeks.
I just don't think it's fair sometimes. I don't think that it's fair that she was taken from us.
Lily Sosi did not have what the state considers to be an underlying condition. Her case is actually a rare one. Lily died without having any other medical complications. Look at this list. More than 42% of New Mexicans who died from COVID have had at least one of these conditions. The top three: hypertension, or what's considered high blood pressure, diabetes, or cardiovascular disease, followed by chronic lung disease, kidney disease, obesity, liver disease, and immunocompromised.
When I saw the data curves with the top three conditions, my immediate thought was that those are just very highly represented in our citizens.
Dr. Denise Gonzalez's observation is correct. According to state data, the majority of New Mexicans have the underlying conditions that are referred to when someone dies from COVID. James Wilding White has three of them: diabetes, high blood pressure, and obesity.
If I contracted COVID, it would most likely be a death sentence for me.
He had been struggling for weeks trying to get the vaccine. At one point, he was turned away from a vaccination clinic.
I'm totally powerless over this situation. I just have to wait and hope I don't contract COVID and drop dead.
We know that people with certain underlying conditions have an elevated risk for severe outcomes.
Dr. Christine Ross is the state's epidemiologist.
Absolutely. That information was used to tailor the recommendations for the vaccine rollout.
So how big of an impact did COVID-19 actually have on our state?
Target 7 looked at the number of deaths reported here to the Office of the Medical Investigator over the past 3 years. It shows in 2020, the year of COVID, overall, the number of deaths in our state increased by 23%. So much so, as a precaution, the Office of the Medical Investigator brought in these mobile morgues, these trailers, to house the extra bodies.
So if COVID-19 had not impacted these lives, would these people have passed away anyway? And like I said, it's clear that numbers have been quite elevated this year as compared to the year prior.
As we saw anybody with COVID, whether they had underlying diseases or not, it did start to become an oh no. I think it's the same chronic diseases that when we face them in the ICU that we worry about. When you compound it with COVID, it was a double oh no.
Dr. Gonzalez worked in the intensive care unit at Presbyterian Hospital.
I definitely feel every individual life that has passed under my care as it gets entered as a statistic into those records.
It's been 9 months, and Lindsay Sosi says she still doesn't understand why her mother is one of those statistics. On her birthday, her boyfriend painted this mural of her mother. She's the second healthcare provider in the state to die of COVID-19.
She wasn't even overweight. I just don't get it. I don't understand. But maybe it was her time to go. Maybe it was her time to go. You know, God needed her. He needed her more than us.
For Target 7, I'm Todd Kurtz.
Yeah, heartbreaking story. According to the data obtained by Target 7, 47% of the people who died from the disease were 75 years old or older.